Hey now everybody, welcome back to Nathan's Pop Hunt. I'm the Nathan, these are some of the pops. Welcome. If it's your first time watching, hi, I'm Nathan, these are the pops. If it's not your first time watching, welcome back. So, today we have something that has been a long time in the making. I am wanting to compare some pops. Essentially a case, about a month ago I bought a set of pops. And then I bought some of the older versions of those pops. So the originals came out in 2014 and the newer ones came out about 3-4 months ago. I really wanted all of these pops a long time ago, but now I've got the full set, which are the newer ones, which in all honesty I prefer. But we're going to compare them. So we're going to look at the front, we're going to look at the back, we're going to have a look at how the moulds are differing now, and some of the coloration differences as well, because there's a few bits and bobs there that have changed. But yeah, what I will do is I will cut to myself in the past. Ironically and unintentionally, I am wearing the same t-shirt and there is a different desk behind me. Do not be afraid, do not adjust your television sets or your internet settings or your broadband provider or anything. Don't worry, it's still me, it's a month ago. Let me show you what we've got. First and foremost, we have this guy, Peter Venkman. You'll recognise him, he's a Ghostbuster. He's Bill Murray. How do you not know Peter Venkman? Next up, Ray Stantz, also known as Dan Aykroyd, also a Ghostbuster. Now, I got these two. They are the old pops. So they're from 2014. I also, in that packet, got this as well. So I got Slimer. I prefer this over the new Slimer with the hot dogs in his mouth. It's a very cool pop. Would I like the glow-in-the-dark one? Of course I would. I've got a UV torch after all. But I do like Slimer. But then, like I say, I bought a load of pops and I got those. If you don't know, Egon's about 50-60 quid at the moment, and Winston, I believe, only came with the car. I saw that on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. Didn't manage to get hold of that though, I was a bit late to the party on that one, but these things happen. However, we have this box. It's open, it's full of Ghostbusters. So, let's get through this. First off, we have the new Ray Stantz. So these, I actually bought these on eBay as well. These were all from Galactic Toys. So, yeah, boxes in decent nick on most of them. The only ones that have problem, well, I say most of them, there's 4 of them, 2 of them are slightly damaged. The Peter Venkman was pushed up against the Winston, so they got slightly dented. But there we go, there's Peter Venkman. As you can tell, there are considerable differences between the pops, between the old ones and the new ones. The only kind of similarity is they're based on the same characters and they've got similar colour jumpsuits. That's pretty much it, to be honest. But I also got Winston, because let's be honest, you have to have Winston. Ernie Hudson is an absolute legend. So like I say, this one's a bit dented on the corners, it's just a bit dinged. As you may have realised though, I'm an out-of-box collector, technically. So regarding all these in the boxes, these are the ones that I'm trying to sell. So if you see anything here that you like, let me know. We may be able to make a deal. And then finally, we've got Egon. This one actually, to me, it looks a lot more like Egon than the original one did. I mean, it's difficult because the older versions, they don't really look like anything, they look like pops. That's really the only way to describe them. I don't know what this is on his head, but yeah. So what we'll do, we'll go into some images that I've taken, with them side by side. I'll go over, in wonderful disembodied voiceover, some of the similarities, some of the differences, and we'll go from there. So, look at my voice. Yeah. So we'll start with Ray. Obviously, we're looking at the back first. So the first thing you're going to notice there is the actual proton pack. The pack itself on the old one is grey or silver. The new one obviously is black. Because the body on the new version is smaller, so too is the pack obviously. There's a bit more detail on the newer one as well. You can see the extra coloured piping there as well. A lot of the details, like the pipe on the right hand side, and the kind of little bits and pieces on the left, you can see are still there on the new one, but they're a lot more refined. They're a lot more kind of delicate, you could say. The other big difference there as well is the strap on the head. That's obviously got one coming over the top, so it's a little bit different to what the older one is. And the hair obviously is a little bit better quality on there as well. So yeah, so this one obviously Ray is slightly different. So the other Ghostbusters all have their guns in the hands. He's got it holstered on his back there as well on the right hand side. And you can see that he's got the trap in his hand on the newer one from there. So we'll switch around to the front and we're going to look at the trap there. So we've got the front there. Obviously very similar kind of design overall. You've got the goggles on the head, you've got the trap in the hand. But on the older one, you've got the old walkie-talkie for no apparent reason. And on the new one, the trap is held differently. Obviously, because of the difference in the moulds, you can have a bit more detail. You can hold the trap in a different way, which is kind of more like they did in the actual film itself. And he's got the actual trap trigger in his other hand rather than the walkie-talkie there. Goggle-wise, obviously there's a big change in the colouring. They're actually a lot bigger on the newer one as well. The thing I like best on this, though, is the eyebrows. He's got eyebrows and wrinkles on his head, so it gives him a little bit more personality, which I quite like. Now to Peter Venkman. It's pretty much the same in the way that they're stood. The actual kind of arm placements and things like that are very similar. And obviously the packs are the same as what they are on Ray as well. The only difference is they don't have the gun holstered on them. Big difference you'll find is the texture to the back of the head. There's a lot more hair and it looks a bit more hair-like, kind of, for plastic. But we'll go to the front view and take a look there. So the front view on this one, it gives you a bit more kind of, it accentuates how they've improved on the moulding process. So you've got the creasing around the trousers, and on the top of his shoulder there on the left hand side you can see. Other than that, big change hair and eyebrows again. But also the older one, he's got his gloves tucked into his belt just under his left arm there, which is slightly different, where all the new ones, they're actually wearing the gloves. Gun is much more detailed on there. It's a slightly higher position to it, obviously because of the way the new moulds are able to kind of be a bit more detail on that as well. But overall, I mean, the new ones are a great improvement, not just in the moulds, the body, but they're adding wrinkles and eyebrows. They've got a lot more character. The Egon now as well, it looks a lot more pissed off, a lot angrier than they normally would do. So yeah, quite cool.
So there you have it. Yeah, there's some very different, some interesting changes they've made with the colorations and things like that. So whether it was a case it was just easier to do silver than it was black in the past and things like that, I don't know. But definitely feel there's more character in the newer figures than in the older ones. Again, that's just the technology's come on, they've been able to create better moulds and things like that. They are getting away from the more traditional pop style, but hey, that's what we're kind of liking at the moment. They're a little bit more realistic, kinda, except for the giant heads. But yeah, that's what we've got for you today. I'm not expecting anything really other than my Pop in a Box subscription at the minute, so there should be that coming soon. But other than that, I'm not sure. I spent way too much on my SDCC stuff and things like that. And those wrestling ones, I just need to calm down for a little while. Mostly because of my wife. She's told me that it's expensive. Yeah. But we will be back with more content. So what we might have soon as well, we may be getting some pop protectors. We may be testing them. We're not just going to be flicking them and stuff. We're going to be dropping them. We're going to be hitting them. I've got a couple of pops that no one seems to want to buy off me, and they're not worth very much. So, test pops. I'm just going to say they're going to be dropped off of desks. They're going to be dropped from holding height. They might go out of a window. Stay tuned for more information. But yeah, that's all stuff that's coming down the pipe. Thank you very much for watching this. Again, if you've liked this comparison, like the video. If you like the comments would be helpful as well. If there's anything more you want me to go into if I were to do these again, because there are some other pops that I've got that I could do this with. Deadpool's, Thor's, Iron Men, Captain America's, Spider-Man. There's a lot of stuff that has kind of evolved over the years. The Ghostbusters were a big jump over 5 years, but everything else could be kind of bit by bit. So there are plenty of options for us to do stuff like this. But other than that, thank you very much. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Ring the bell if you haven't rung the bell. And we'll see you soon.